Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com and BigWaveTrading.net coming to you with the stock market wrap up for the weekend for Monday. I believe it's the 22nd. Anyway, stocks had a very, very bullish session on Friday with the NASDAQ putting in a very strong 1.09% gain. The only bad thing about the gain is that you can see that it opened higher and it moved much, much higher, but by the end of the day, it only moved, I believe, 3 points higher from 824.99 to 827.2 and 2 points and 50 cents higher, which is still better than being down. But the best part of it all is that even though it was quadruple witching Friday, it was still extremely strong volume, and we were higher. And the most important thing, but besides the higher volume, is that not only the stocks that had high volume due to options were moving, but we also had stocks with excellent chart patterns breaking out or bouncing off key averages or support levels, signaling that behind the quadruple witching was some real accumulation in stocks. Now, anything can happen, and much larger sellers could come out of the woodwork on Monday and shut this market back down. But the way that stocks are set up and the way that the 50-day moving average is now above the 200-day moving average on the NASDAQ, once the 200-day moving average starts to curve up, we should be moving higher. And when that happens, hopefully the New York Stock Exchange will then be behind it. And as you can see on the NYSE, we now have the 50-day moving average above the 200-day moving average as of Friday. On Thursday, it was right there on that precipice of crossing. It then got to it Friday and completed it. But once again, look at the New York Stock Exchange closely, and as you can see, it's still in a clear downtrend. Still, we were up 0.47%, much higher volume than the day before, as you can see. Remember, during this pullback, we've been pulling back on very, very quiet bottom. Now look at the volume today. Very, very strong. Yes, we're well off the highs intraday on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. But the bottom line is we are higher, and I have individual stock patterns that are very, very nice out there. So that just goes well with the volume. S&P 500 also up 0.31%. You can see the higher volume. And actually, this looks a little bit more bullish because you have more of a T pattern, I guess you could say. But instead of closing the upper end of the range, it is in the middle of the range. Still bullish on the day, though, as 919 was the open, 921 is the close. And hopefully in the next couple of days or next week, we'll get above the intraday highs on Friday. I'm sure that can happen as long as stocks stay the way that they're moving. One of my biggest tells on this is the biggest stock in the NASDAQ, Microsoft. Whenever Microsoft's moving up, obviously the stock market's moving up. So, well, not obviously, but most of the time. As I'll lay a chart of Microsoft out here, you can see from 2006 to 2007 how Microsoft acted. And let's take a look at the NASDAQ, how it acted during that time. And as you can see, it moved up with Microsoft. You can see that Microsoft fell during 2008. The NASDAQ fell in 2008. Well, Microsoft is starting to get very strong on an individual basis. And while it was rallying in a very V-shaped pattern off the March lows on lower volume, recently, as the 50-day moving average, actually right before the 50-day moving average crossed above the 200-day moving average, very strong volume came back into the stock and a lot of green bop, which I always like to see. It's just something that I like to see on my charts. And you can see that on Microsoft on the bottom pane of the window, you see that green. Then you see the volume. Now, just to prove that we're not quite the country that we used to be, March to now, Microsoft's up 57%, which is really good. But let's look at like Kong. Look at all this green in this chart. See all that max green? See how the green's kind of falling, but it's still very strong. And as it pulls back here, volume's pulling back also after extremely strong rally. Also, Kong is up from, let's use the February lows right here, 151% compared to Microsoft. But I know that's comparing oranges to apples, but still, you can see that this beautiful Chinese stock is beating our nice American stock over here. Still, it's good to see a bull market in all these, and that's just the bottom line. Now, I'm going to show you the IBD 100, IBD 85, 85 if I can. Depends if the computer wants to bring them up fast enough, and we're working well, so that's good. You can see it was up over 1%, beating the SP 500. You have the relative strength line ticking slightly up, and if I could put this on Paint, maybe I can do that really quick. Print screen, let's go to Paint. I'm going to paste it on Paint. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a trend line now showing you connecting the lows here. You can touch this low to this low through this low, and you got this connecting, making higher lows, and then you can see here higher highs. So you can see that it's now in a nice bullish uptrend channel. And as you can do also if you're doing a swing trading, you buy on the low of this trend, sell on the top of the trend. And if you're selling up here, if it breaks out above on volume, you would cover your short and go long on the breakout of the trend higher. And to me, I think it should go higher because also the relative strength line, this is what I really want to show you. Look at that. Trending up after a long trending down. And while it was trending down, the price was trending up. Negative divergence. Now you finally got prices trending up, relative strength trending up. That all confirms. The only thing that doesn't confirm, sadly, volume. That's always a little, nerve-wracking, I guess. So going back to the IBD 85.85 now, let's go and take a look at what that one looks like, and it should look very similar, obviously. Relative strength line, very strong. Oh, well over 1%, about 1.5% gain for the IBD 85.85, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, I'm not sure. However, the relative strength line is very strong. Connect these lows and it's going up, and even from these lows right here back in April, May, it's moving up. So overall, the IBD indexes look great. That's what we wanted and what we've been waiting for. Was that even a daily I was looking at? Yes, it was. But more importantly, the NASDAQ strong, matching up with Microsoft. And, of course, as long as Chinese stocks like KONG act like they act, I'm already long this stock, and I'm up a lot in it. So if you go long now, I'm not giving away any secrets. Still 79%. I want another breakout to get long, but we'll let video 1 know. Video 2, though, we'll go over it whenever I do go long. And then another one I'm watching, maybe along later on, CEDU, China EDU Corporation. Go ahead and be a nice guy and throw something out there. I know that doesn't mean much, as the YouTube audience has proved to me. It's ridiculous to even try to be nice for free. Whenever you get what you pay for. You pay for something, you get quality. You don't pay for it, anything could happen. You could get any kind of crap that's out there. It's the same way, I guess, with people that subscribe, because boy, oh boy, I've been trying to be a very, very nice guy and give some gems out there, but I guess the saying, don't throw pearls before swine, really, 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 really counts on the internet. But maybe somebody out there will benefit from my analysis, and maybe you'll go along to EDU in the future, and maybe it'll be $70 in the future, because God knows China EDU has a lot higher of a chance of going higher than Microsoft does, even though Microsoft is a company we all know. And actually, that's why it has less of a chance going up, because we all know it. And by the way, just to remind everybody, back in 2000, I had so many people tell me, you better buy Microsoft down here. If you don't buy Microsoft down here, I swear to God, you're stupid, kid. Because I was only like 20, 21, 22 then. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're doing. I've been investing in this game for a long time. You got to get the dividends. You got to make the dividends. You got to make the money here. Well, I'll just remind you guys that since then, there's a stock called Hansen Energy Drinks. They make these things called Monsters. Hans from 2003 to 2007 was up 10,000% in 1, 2, 3, 4 years. 10,000% gain in 4 years, and then all those guys telling me I was stupid for not knowing what I'm doing by Microsoft and the lows in 2000. Let's see how that turned out. Oh, you're only down 22%. How are those dividends working out? So watch out for those guys that say buy the values. I will say one thing. The newbie day trader crowd has gotten very loud. Listen, guys, when a stock market's rallying like this, and even Microsoft is up 57% from the lows, it's not going to take a big genius out there to make the gains. However, later on, all these stocks that we're buying off the lows, it should eventually transfer back to the leaders. And after this period of the market getting back to normalcy, if we are, we should continue to rally, and the leaders should be the ones that start producing the huge gains. Stocks like Kong that set up above the 50 and 200-day moving average will not produce in this amount of times 80% gains. They will return to producing 100 to 200 to 500% gains. It's just going to take a while because we had a nasty sell-off. In 2000, 2002, we had a nasty sell-off in the NASDAQ. We did not have one in the NYSE and SP 500. We have now had that. So there was no room to run, and that's why value stocks like that I'm long, so I can show RAD. Here's the clear long signal here on strong volume, up 9% that day, now up 174%. And at one point, as you can see in the highs here, hopefully you took profits when it was over 250%. There you go. But since then, it hasn't done well, but we've had a lot of leading stocks do well, like Star, for instance. From the gap up off the 50-day moving average, this one's up 46% in 2 months. So the leadership stocks will start to lead here pretty soon, especially with the IBD indexes now showing some recent relative strength. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring up part 2 next, and we're going to probably need a part 3 and part 4. I have a feeling we're going to have a ton of longs on Monday. So, guys, if you're a subscriber, make sure you show up Monday morning. I have everything updated before 5 a.m., and seriously, between 5 a.m. and 9:30 a.m., you got to get in here and you got to get these. And to be honest with you, if you wake up at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., you're going to get them. You'll know what to buy. But the video will be up probably like by 2 a.m. because living in Hawaii, I'm 6 hours behind you guys. Still, it's very important that Monday, if you normally do not check the market every day, that you come by this site on Monday and get these longs.
because I have a feeling as long as the market doesn't reverse hard, we have some nice gains that we can probably finally make. And even if it doesn't move up a ton, ask the current subscribers how Friday was for us. Just by looking at Star, you probably have a feeling how it was. All right, part 2, 3, 4, 5, however many I need is up next. Aloha.